All right, well, good evening, everybody. Thank you all for coming out tonight. If you haven't been here before, my name is Wendy Zarara, and I'm the branch manager here at the Kenmore Library. I've been here about 3 years, almost exactly. And I'm really excited to be in Kenmore. I think I got to Kenmore at this very exciting time where there's just so much going on and this amazing resurgence in this community. And my goal when I came here was to make this more of a cultural and community resource and kind of highlight what's going on in the community, including the artistic talent and the musical talent. That's been some of my goals. And now we're highlighting the business talent in Akron and Kenmore as well. I'm happy to have you here for today's program, Black Business Leaders Panel, highlighting entrepreneurial success. My inspiration for this program started on my lunch breaks. I love to sit out on that little ledge out there and just seeing what's going on in the neighborhood. And next door, I would see Terrence Bailey, who opened the Ethic Race shop right there. I'd see him getting his business up and running, and we got chatting about it. And, you know, across the street, we have LeVar Jacobs, who unfortunately was unable to be here tonight, but he started Not Just October, which is a resource center dealing with breast cancer. Seeing the Shrina Tea House finally opened up. I met Monique, oh gosh, well over a year ago, and I was involved with her in a program we held at the Rialto. I helped her get some poets for it, and it featured some of the artistic talent of this area. So it's just been so exciting to see a resurgence and see businesses opening and businesses thriving, even during a pandemic. And so I was just very heartened and impressed that people would channel such rich creative resources during such difficult times. So this panel I put together to discuss business successes, struggle, and overcoming challenges. And the leaders that we have here tonight include those in business, nonprofit organizations, and the arts. Tracy Williams, I'd like to welcome from our main library. She's the Microbusiness Specialist in the Business, Government, and Science Division of our Akron-Summit County Public Library. So thank you so much, Tracy, for being here. She's going to be asking a lot of questions this evening. She actually, oh yeah. Well, I'd like to thank her for providing the questions, and they're very good, thought-provoking questions. So I also like to thank the participants. So why don't we just, well, you know what? I'm going to have you all introduce yourselves in a minute and do an elevator pitch, like a 2-minute. But first, I just want to tell you about some upcoming programs that I've got in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll get started. So on the 8th of September, Thursday is part of a program that's been ongoing for now a year and a half. Our Let's Go Akron Cooking Workshop, Green Seasoning by Chef Tamika Pearson. We've got 2 chefs tonight that have been on in this series. And if you haven't been part of the series, I would absolutely recommend. It's completely virtual, and it works virtually because you can cook along with the chef in your own kitchen. If you're one of the top 10 or the first 10 people to sign up, you can actually get food from Let's Go Akron that's delivered here at the library. You get to pick up a little food kit to make the recipe at home. It's also held through the Maple Valley and the Odom Library. So if you can't get, if you live closer to one of those locations, you can get a food kit through there if you're one of the first 10 to sign up. I've got on the 10th of, which is a Saturday, a Pirate Fest. That's going to be an all ages party. We're just going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to learn to talk like pirates. If you dress up like a pirate, you can win a prize. And we're going to have some crafts. We're going to show some films and some videos, and that's just going to be for fun. I have a Park series, which is a regular series in September on the 15th. We're talking about coyotes. with Summit Metro Parks Ranger Jason Whittle, kind of, you know, the sort of misconceptions about this creature that, you know, is kind of becoming more common in our suburban and urban environments as well as out in the parks and the rural areas. And then on the 29th is part of my Sounds of Akron music series, and that one's Jim Ballard, a Kenmore native. He's doing Songs for Humans. So without further ado, I'd like to start today's program. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, all the panelists. Thank you all for being here. Yes.
On October the 20th at the main library downtown Akron, we will have Marvin Montgomery. He is the sales doctor, and he will come and educate on getting that customer to not say no. He is really, really good. So it'll be from 10 to 12. More information will be on our website, but I just want to get that out there. You got plenty of time. It's October 20th.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Yes. And thank you, Ricky Ellen, for being here. Ricky is our new Friends President here at Kenmore. I'm so excited.
I went to Cleveland Clinic. Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you, Ricky.
Yeah.
So let's start. Like I said, first what we're going to do is if we go down the road, and just take about 2 minutes. I want you to tell us who you are, what your enterprise is, and anything else you'd like to know in 2 minutes. Keeping in mind there's going to be a series of questions after that. And then Tracy and I will take turns asking a list of questions that she has devised. And then we may stop to consult. If we're getting short on time, we may want to like skip a question or two. So if we're consulting, it's not because we're talking about it anyway. We're going to say, hey, let's skip question 5. We have to, but hopefully we'll have enough time. So let's get started. So Jennifer, thank you.
So, greetings to you all. My name is Jennifer Tidwell. I am in the hospitality management area of business. I am a culinary art. I am a certified personal chef. My business is called Genuine Cuisines Culinary Services. That's genuine with a J. And what I do is I come to you and I cook for you inside of the comfort of your home. So you don't have to worry about the age-old question, what's for dinner? And if you're not sure, then you and I can speak and we can throw ideas around and help you come up with ideas for what it is that you would like to have here. On certain occasions, I will do small scale catering, which I don't provide all the linens and the drapes and things of that nature. It's just more on a smaller scale. And I'll also do meal prep and intimate dinners too. Other than that, I do a lot of coaching and consulting and networking with my other food entrepreneurs in the city. And I help them and inspire them to be the best they be, share all my secrets, tips, and failures with them so they don't have to go through what I went. So that's my spiel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jelana Dawson, and I'm the founder of Moms Mentoring Moms of Summit County. At Moms Mentoring Moms, our motto is we help good moms become great moms. And this is a mentoring program where our mission is to educate, inspire, and to provide faith-based solutions and support to the single mother household. We educate through having a 8-week mentorship program, teaching parenting skills through the lenses of the Bible. We support through providing services such as it's school time, back to school. So we provide book bags, school supplies. We also do have a closet called the Agape Storehouse, where if moms are right between paychecks and they may need some diapers or some toiletries, deodorants, things like that, they're not able to purchase. We help out in areas like that. And we inspire by empowering moms to through the education process of the mentoring program. We inspire and we empower them to be the best mom that they can be for their children, because as we all know, our children are going to model and they're going to walk in our footsteps. So we need to give them something to model after.
Hey, everybody, I'm Lori Cornell. I'm the CEO of Black Culture Candles. We're a luxury brand that celebrates Black joy through scent. What I do is I take cultural experiences and my scents are inspired by our cultural experiences. Like this is my signature scent, which is Black joy. We all know that Black joy is positive self-expression for Black people. I look at that when you see Black joy and look at that, you know what it looks like when we take that feeling, what does Black joy feel like? And I take those feelings and I interpret it to a scent. So I just take cultural experience that we all share, but I filter them through a Black cultural lens and create a candle. And you can find my candles online, blackculturecandles.com. I'm also available on Amazon, and you can also buy them at Street Craftery here in Akron.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Danica Stevenson. I am also known as Chef Danny. I am a food entrepreneur, local community chef with Sip Savor Soul. So what I do is I bring a love of cooking throughout kitchens everywhere. So I hope everyone here loves how to cook, knows how to cook or loves to cook. But I take my kitchen everywhere. So whether it's a community center, library, clinics, you name it, I bring the kitchen to them. I work with kids and adults in the community. And what I usually do is I take something that people like and I put a healthy spin to it. And so I've been doing classes for the past 6 years. I've done over 300 cooking demonstrations and classes throughout the city. I've been on Foxmeet about 7 times. I'm doing live cooking demos. And September 30th, please mark this down, but I'm opening my Akron's first cooking school. It's called Sip Savor Soul Kitchen. So if you are a novice in the kitchen, this is the place to come. If you should be on Food Network's Worst Cooks of America, you should come. We have kids that are on fire for the kitchen. Now, I don't mean creating fires. I mean passion. So you have kids that are passionate in the kitchen. This is the place to be. If you want to impress your boo because you want to learn how to cook, this is the place to be. And so this cooking school is opening September 30th in Goodyear Heights. I hope to see you guys there. I'm very, very excited to actually have a place to call home because I've been traveling throughout the city doing these classes. I also do seasonal cooking classes with the Akron-Summit County, and we just want people to get excited about cooking again. So a lot of people don't know how to cook, don't want to cook. That's okay. But when you come to my place, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn. So, and we're going to have fun too. So I hope to see you guys at September 30th.
That's me. So I'm Trayvon Juniors. I am a fashion designer, make men and women's clothes. My clothing company is Future Motives. I've started this, I want to say back in 2013. I started with art. I love art. I always want to draw and I always want to find a way to make my designs, attract people, and make them motivated. So I'm always trying to be improvise and think of ways. So as time went on, I've tried to think of things that will always not only motivate me and be passionate, so that when I tell people to show it, it attracts you right then and there. Just like we were talking about with the guy who wants to be the doctor and bring the people to buy it right then and there, but I don't want you to buy it. I want it to attract you to make you better. So that's why I make it. Like a lot of the stuff I have now that I even have up there, I'm always doing things. So like when I say you will never have an excuse to not find me, because I always have QR codes and things on my clothes to where you always find me. So people say, I don't have a bid, you don't need a business card, you have a phone. So that's what I'm like, every time you see me, or I'm even here on Kenmore Boulevard, because I'm partnered with Kenny Lambert. So I'm always doing things with the community with him, and I'm always doing things with mental health. So that's what I'm working on now. I also work with sign language, which I put Black Lives Matter on it, read it, and then understand. So that's why I have it in multiple colors, and I'm always doing certain things. And little do you know, I'm actually a Division I football player for the Akron. But I was the only boy in the fashion designer room. The teacher was like, "Are you in the right room?" But yeah, I'm supposed to be here. This is the room I'm supposed to be in. But it was all women, so she thought I was in the wrong room. So then when I came in there and she saw I was serious about it, then she was so that's why I just want to give that little spiel and let you know this all stuff I'm doing. I actually did a fashion show on Akron's campus 2017. And that was also difficult because they seeing me as an athlete is like, making clothes, or you just here for the girls? I'm really here to make clothes. I went to women in it, but I'm here to actually make the clothes. But that's a little bit of me, and thank you so much.
Corey's not this one of the panel.
No, I am not. I'm just gonna.
If you, when you leave the room, just turn here, there's a display case with some of his art in it. He is an upcoming entrepreneur. And he actually, Trevante, you've seen his work, right? Because he's got a t-shirt down in Kenny's shop.
Actually, too.
Well, a hoodie and a shirt.
Yeah, and one of them I had to have, the minute I saw it, it's Kenmore Center. It's got a cardinal, it's like right on the hip, on the street, the cross signs, right? It's Kenmore Boulevard and 15th, right? 13th, it's gorgeous. And so me and two of my librarians, we we're on First Fridays. Just, yeah, so, yeah, seriously. And so if you go down there, not only see Travante's work, you'll get to see some of Corey's work, so.
Things.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get started with the questions. Tracy,
So we don't follow through this. Each of you will answer the same question. It doesn't have to be 2 minutes. It's just however you answer this question. All right. So the first question, and we'll start down here so it doesn't seem like. You.
I know, right?
Sit by you.
I know, I
All right. So when did you know that you wanted to become an entrepreneur?
That is a good question. I guess I would say that just growing up the way I grew up, things that I always had to fight through, things I never had. So I always wanted to make a change for myself, especially me being the first person in my family to go to college and graduate. So I think that was like the main thing, the struggle, and then knowing that using my art, I can find a way out.
Same question.
I think it's a historical thing because my mother's here today. This is my mom right there. Hi, Mom. I come from a history of workers that they never had a business or anything really to call their own. And when I grew up, I said I wanted something fun. Like that curse is gonna end. For this day, for me and going forward, I have a business, I have something to pass down to my children, my children's children. So when I decided to do the business was not about me. This represents my mother, it represents my grandmother, it represents my great grandmother who really started it and showed me how to cook at a very, very young age. So I kind of knew then because I saw the pattern, I saw them working, nonstop, day after day, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. And you really didn't see your family. And I was like, I'm gonna be in a place where I have something to not only call my own, but I can make my own hours, I can spend time with my family, I can travel, I can do things because I know the pain of just, I saw their pain and I was like, I want to change the narrative of this. And that's why I decided to go.
I think that I have always known that I was going to be an entrepreneur. I mean, even as a little girl, I didn't have a traditional lemonade stand. What I did was I made the lemonade, loaded up my wagon, and I took it to the fathers going to craft in the neighborhood. So every Saturday, early, in the early afternoon, and they would look forward to me. They knew I was coming with my wagon, selling lemonade. So that was like my first. I was like 9 or 10 years old when I started doing that. So I tell people that I am absolutely unemployable. I am non-conformist. I'm not a morning person. I don't like being told what to do. I don't, I'm an out of the box thinker. I was just not made to do a 9 to 5. I was just not born for it. I'm not fit for it. So entrepreneurship has always been something I've always wanted to do. Just like Chef Danny, I want to make my own hours. I have such big thoughts and, my imagination is just, I have so many things I want to create. And you cannot do that when you are working for someone else. You have to follow their rules. So I always knew that I didn't want to I had to be an entrepreneur. I did not want to be an employee.
So I would say that I didn't know what to call. It's when I was younger, when I was coming up, I just that growing up, as I got older, I realized that I had more of a business mindset. The first business that I had was maybe 20 years ago, and I literally started a cleaning company and a concierge service, and it was literally just out of the fact that I needed to support my family. And I quickly realized that, oh, this is lucrative. And people started, referring me to other people, and it's just like I did that for 7 years. So since that moment, like it's just a part of entrepreneurship. And I've worked several jobs, and the skills that I've gained in those jobs, I just, use them for my own company. That's part of my story.
Yeah, I am the same. I didn't know the name for it when I was younger, but I was probably in middle school when I figured this out, even though I was back and forth. I was the one that came to and bought candy from me. So I'd sell candy at school. So that was probably my first job. And then from there, as time would just go past, I noticed that my mind just worked and I could figure out things to do to make money, or figure out just how to flip stuff and make money. And when I was growing up, the job field that I got into or wanted to get into had nothing to do with being an entrepreneur. And I was going to school to become a mortician, but my sister and my brother, she was a cosmetologist, he was a barber. I'm like, man, they do not have to work for the man. They do ever make money in this. I was like, if I had a talent like that, I would. Didn't figure out until I moved to Akron and got married that I could well enough to do that. So along the way, it was always like I wanted to work for myself, but I didn't think I had a talent or what to do it. So I guess I always wanted to do it when I was a teenager, but it took me down here to finally figure out the gift I had that could allow me to become.
Thank you.
All right, so,
Sorry.
all
All right, so would you share an early failure that you faced or success with regards to your business? Or something that encouraged you throughout that process and along your entrepreneurial journey?
Okay, my early failure was, if you cook it, they will come. Everybody has to eat, and everybody's gonna want to eat your food. And that's not true. I learned that everybody wants to eat the food, but nobody want to pay the price of what the food's worth. So, I guess the failure was not having a clearer understanding of how the world operates around the thought process of food. So me thinking it was just going to be easy. I knew it wasn't about, oh, I can just cook good if you want to eat it. It was more, I just assumed because people have to eat, people will buy. But I did, yeah, that was probably the first thing I figured out. I guess I was a failure. Like I would try to have this event, like, yeah, they're just gonna come, they're gonna buy this food. And yeah, no. But that to change my mind, I guess my thought process was kind of failing or lacking. So,
Let's see. So I would say that when I had my first mentoring class, super duper excited, pumped up, had everything all organized, laid out, advertised, and it was just one person that came, and that one person got picked up by another person in the organization. So that was interesting, to say the least. But even just being there, I knew that I had to give it all I had, and I had to make it like it was 20, 50, 100 people. It didn't matter, and I did just that thing. I just presented to that person like they were just, because they were valuable, and they got the double cane. So, kind of like that same concept, you know, everybody doesn't feel like they need a mental program. Some people are even, have a mindset, you know, well, that is just not important, or I'm just gonna, you know, do it like my mom did it, and this, that, and the other, and some are not open to a better way or a structured way of learning how to parent. And then also I'll share this because this was pretty interesting. I had an online class, and you know, it was, you know, how to overcome, you know, all the obstacles in your past, and you know, just abuse and heartbreak, and like it got no light. And then it was the same content. I turned the subject title around and said how to be in a relationship. And it was just like, you know what I mean? But it was the same content. So my lesson out of that was I was teaching the same thing, but I had to maybe just change the topic a bit, change the type to get the people. So
Okay, with me, this is my fourth business, which means I've had 3 business failures before that. But what I have learned is that every business failure made me grow as a person and made me grow as a business person. I had to, every business taught me more knowledge, and like, and I just, the failures, I don't even resent them. I used to, but when I started this business, I don't resent them because I grew so much through them. And with this business, I'll be in business a year next month, and I've won 2 pitch contests. I've been on PBS, national PBS. I've been in the Akron Journal. I voted one of the best of Akron. You know, so I mean, it's those business failures have. I could have said, you know what, I give up. I'm sick of trying, but I'm not. Like I said, I'm unemployable. so I have to keep trying. So so this, I think that I have really gotten the hang of this. But the biggest failure I have with this one, the loss of my partner. Because I started this business with a partner, and through creative differences, we parted. And I could have said, oh man, you know what, forget it, I'm not doing this by myself. But no, I mourned that, the loss of that partnership. I've done my heels in, and I kept going. Because entrepreneurship does nothing else. It shows you whether or not you have grit. It shows you whether or not you have, you know, what your work ethic is, how much you believe in yourself. So you can take those losses and let them beat you down. You can take those losses and let them teach you something to lift you up. So that's my.
For me, I didn't know my worth. I didn't know. I'm very passionate about what I do. I have purpose, and I want to serve God's people. The problem was I didn't know the profit part of it, because I know a lot of us have passion, purpose, people, and you want that notoriety. You want people to know who you are. And sometimes I'm sure a lot of us are like, you know, I will do this for free because I love what I do. You know, I've done it a lot. But then when you look at your bank account, you're like, no, wait a minute. I'm in trouble. I just can't pay my electric bill. You know what I'm saying? People can't pay my groceries. So I had to look at the profit part of it. And recently, it took me a long time to figure that out, because I was kind of questioning, is it worth it? Should I keep doing this? And I recently found out, like, I had this epiphany. It was like, you know, I heard that let your struggle be your success story. That's the thing that just came in my spirit. And recently, I have a business coach, and so I was giving her the numbers. I was like, how do I get profit? You know, and she's like, you need to reevaluate your worth. People know who you are now. Don't be afraid to put a number behind it. And that's hard. That's hard. So I was scared. You know, I'm like, well, I should be charging this per class. And I remember she looked at it, she's like, and I was like, oh my God, it's too much. And she's like, that's too low. That's too low. So I had to break everything down, like, okay, you're doing your consultation, menu development, recipe development, traveling, gas, your car, I have a baby. You know, how many hours a day, you know, I had to break all that down. And so it went from, I call it, I was getting love offers. Like, you know, I went from that to like, and I'm not afraid to say it, to like $2,500 plus. I'm not afraid to say that.
Yeah.
I mean, it took me a long time to get there. But once you know who you are, you can put a number to it. You're like, my business is valuable. You know, I'm worth that, you know, and nowadays you cannot be afraid to put a number behind your business. You got to, because if you don't, your business will go under. You will always have purpose, passion people, but that profit part will make you or break you, you know. So once I realized that, I'm not afraid to say it. I'm like, you know what, off the top, it's gonna cost you this. Now, do you want it? Okay, that's okay. I've had people to say no, but guess what? They came back and gave me more. So I was like, I know what I'm doing. So I'm not afraid to put the number to it. So I think that was my struggle in the beginning. Like, what's your, you know, you are valuable, just like your business. You are worth everything that you desired. You're worth all of that. And so once you figure that out, it's golden after that. Yeah.
I guess to add on to that, the struggles, I would say there's been a lot more struggles, but out of the struggles, I've learned a lot. And I've been adding, I want to say I've been adding more from things I've been learning and putting it into perspective on how to grow. And even as of right now, if it wasn't for me learning how to talk to people and just being outgoing as I would have never been. Because I was working at FedEx Ground and working for someone, I kept thinking about how can I get out of here every day? How can I get out? And some new guy came in. I kept telling him, every new driver I was coming across, yeah, I'm in close, like this and that. Like, you know Kenny? I was like, I don't know Kenny. Little did I know, my brother went to school with him. I was like, I didn't know who Kenny was. I met Kenny, and then we like, when it clicked, it was like so easy. And I was like, yeah, we were meant to be friends. And ever since we became friends, he's like, you want to be a part of the store? Now I'm blessed. I'm happy that he's given me an opportunity to do this. And I'm like, now I actually have a foundation to show people, because instead of doing it out my house, learn how to do this or do the little things I thought was right. And even before that, the failure part was, I was like, okay, I'm at school. Everybody at school is going to know who I am because I play a sport. And I'm like, I'm going to make clothes that they're going to buy. But me not understanding how people operate, I'm making clothes that I like and assuming they're going to like. So now when I'm getting on to really notice what I'm doing, that's when I'm getting frustrated. Trying to understand why people buying this. So like, you know me, you know what I'm doing. And everything took a minute for me to realize that I got to stop what I'm doing and learn, listen, and talk to people. And as I started to do that and took a break from the fashion shop, the fashion side, I even stepped away from fashion shows that people kept telling me to go to. I was like, nah, I don't think I need to be there because it just didn't feel right. Some told me to just keep meeting people, keep adapting, keep learning, keep figuring out if that's the right thing, because you'll feel it. And I just wasn't feeling it. I think I missed 3 or 4 fashion shows because people were like, you should come do it. I was like, I don't think it's the right time. And as I waited, that's when the FedEx part came around, and I met Kenny. Then I got a store, I have my location, people know where I am. And then on top of that, I do pop-up shops in Cleveland. Now I'm doing more exploring. So I'm like, okay, I was supposed to wait. But me being younger, I felt frustrated. And I was like, man, this is taking too long. Why is it taking forever? I was like, that's how I felt. But now I realize, just as time goes along, it's like, you'll know, you'll feel it. So that's what I think, that's where I'm at right now as well.
Sure. I'll ask the next two. All right, well, we'll start it here. In what ways do you keep your business growing?
I always just talk to people. I always communicate. I'm always trying to figure out what people like every day. Even when I'm doing little jobs working, I take care of the dogs. The first thing I'll say, I'll talk about the dogs, but I'll find a way to slide in something about COVID just to see if they like it. But if they don't, I back up just to see. I'm always doing social media. I'm big on social media because I did stuff for school with that. but I do social media more in a way not to always keep, people always say post it, post it, post it. I will post, but then I'll put something funny to them, see something with me and see the clothing, but then I'll do something funny again. So instead of just always putting business, because I see a lot of my friends, they'll be like, oh, I didn't see that. But I posted that a lot. You didn't notice that? I'll post something funny. Oh, I saw that. Oh, but did you see this? And but they didn't see that. So I always do something funny with my clothing stuff and be like, oh, I did see that. So I try to make different patterns on what we started doing social media and stuff now, just to try to adapt those things. But now since I'm doing community stuff and I'm added on to it, I try to just be more out in Akron. Since people know me, but I don't think everybody truly know what I'm doing. So I think once everybody truly know what I'm doing, I'll have a better insight on it.
Yeah, I piggyback what he says too, but, the difference is I am not tech savvy. I'm not. People are like, you need to be out there more on Facebook. I'm like, I am the face. And because I want people to know, like, social media is great, but I want to be able to touch the person and speak to them like that, which technology does. Technology loses the human side of it. And that's why I like to be out in the face of the community. Also being involved in a lot of community organizations like Mortar and Jennifer, Nina, through Mortar. I've been in Leadership Akron, Mayor Citizens Institute. I just graduated from Akron Community Foundation, their Center for Emerging Philanthropists. I can say that now. It's hard to say the word, but I'm part of that. So I live my story. So when I'm around people, I tell them who I am. And I don't have a business card or anything like that, but I'm like, you're gonna remember me. You're gonna remember my story. And so, and that's how I'm able to connect with people that way. And then with your business, I try to find a way to not only engage, because I've learned this in business. It's not about a product or a service. It's how you make people feel, period. And so that is my ultimate goal, is I want them to have that experience, because they're gonna remember the experience of it all. And that's how my business has grown. I mean, I may not have a lot of likes on Instagram, but a lot of people like me. So I don't need that number to determine my life, because they like me. You know what I'm saying? So technology is great. I'm not bashing technology, but you have to be the face, period, of the community, because people gravitate towards that. And there are a lot of people that still don't have technology. I'm old school. A lot of people are still old school. So you have to work with those that are into technology and those that are not, because there are a lot that are not. So you have to work with both.
I think, just being open to opportunities, but not just like all money ain't good money. Every opportunity is not a good opportunity. So you have to filter that opportunity to what you want for your business. So if I have a luxury candle brand, me being at every farmer's market is not a good opportunity for my business. So I have to filter, where do I in that takes knowing what you sell, the value that people get from it, the experience that they have receiving it, and how you package it and how you want people to feel about your business. So if an opportunity comes to you, you'll know if it's right for you or not. Because I'll say no, if it's not good for me, and I'll say yes if it is good for me. So just being open to being open to the opportunities and taking advantage of them. When a good opportunity comes along, jump on it. You don't sit on it, you don't think about it. Like we were talking, if you're always ready, you don't ever have to get ready. I am ready for good opportunities to come to my business. I am ready. So I know I know the value that I offer. I know where I want my business to go. I know exactly what my brand message is. So if an opportunity comes to me, I know immediately, yes, that's a good opportunity. I want to jump on that. I'm sorry, but I have someone that maybe that will be a better fit for you. So and even knowing the people around you. So if it's not a good opportunity for you, you can pass it along to someone who's a better fit for it.
It's interesting how what you said and what Trevante said, I've seen the parallels, like just knowing the right opportunity.
Yeah.
And not just scattershot.
Yeah, not jumping on everything that comes along. You know, you have to be very particular, have to be very strategic about where you want your business to go. And that takes sitting down and writing out what, you know, like I have to look at my business, like this is a whole nother person. What is the personality of that person? You know, what do they look like? What do they sound like? And creating a persona for that. And so you know whether or not, if a person comes to you, you know that they're not a good person for me. You know, the same thing with the opportunity. An opportunity comes to you, sorry, that's not a good opportunity. You have to know, but that takes knowing the business. Yeah, you'll get exhausted trying to be everywhere and do everything. That's what it is.
Well, my answer is like my business is based on relationships. So it's a lot of networking involved and just word of mouth referral. Networking, word of mouth referral, and just connections. I just connections. I'm connected with First Glance. I'm connected with the front porch. I'm connected with Tracy, the library, and things. And I'm on 411 in case someone, needs mentoring or so they might just trickle over. And I'm good with that, I'd rather have someone that just feels like I need this. I need help, teach me, show me, I don't know how. And that one person is just gotta just be into them, pour into them.
Everything they said, like fun, and that's my answer. I mean, because I'm like, everybody done said my answer. I mean, everything they said, I'll just do what, at least it with the feel that me at the beginning, everything they said, like, you have to know your worth, you have to network, you have to not chase every opportunity, you have to know when to say yes, you have to know when to say no, you have to stick to your guns. So it's like everything they said, that's what I had to do to make my business grow, as well as and don't take things personal. Like that was a big one too late because I don't have a good poker face. So yeah. It's like I have to connect when I network or when I'm out and about, I have to always kind of keep the poker smile on so people don't like, oh my goodness, she's me. But everything they said, but on top of that, just being true to yourself, being honest with yourself, not taking yourself too seriously, not taking offense to everything. That's what helps you grow as a business. So hired a business sales.
Can I have one more thing? Sorry. Yeah. I was gonna say also referrals are huge because there's stuff that I couldn't do and I called Jennifer like, hey, there's an opportunity and I want her to succeed. It's not about competition, it's about celebration. Yeah. And like I'm rooting Jennifer on just like I'm rooting, everybody here. We need to be rooting everybody on because it's not easy. And even with Lori with the LeBron James Foundation, I was like, hey, connection here. She's doing it. Just like, hey, there's a event, go for it. And so she was able to make those connections and grow. So I think that's a big part of it too, those referrals and say, hey, I know someone that does this. Yeah. Because it shouldn't be all about me. I don't need all the glory. Like, no, I want her to shine. This is her time to shine. This is his time to shine. Let me see who could use their services or their products. So
yeah, just like I said, when somebody asked me if I would do a candle making in SIP, and that's not where I want my brand to go. Right. But I know another candle maker who would love that, and so I directed him to that. So even though it was an opportunity for me, it was an opportunity for someone else. I didn't just forward that opportunity. Right. I gave it to like here's somebody else who I think would be a better fit for you. I passed that along, and I was so thankful for Danny for the for the LeBron James Foundation. So that's just her being wanting everybody to win, and surround yourself with people you want to see win and who want to see you. And those people are easy to spot. The ones who don't want to see you win, that'll be easy to spot too. Yeah.
You definitely want to be a blessing.
Yeah,
To be a blessing, to be a blessing, because maybe like, you know, you get an opportunity, like, no, I really need it because money's short. But there's so much joy if you pass it on to somebody else, because God will intervene and bless you with another opportunity as well. So sometimes it's a test. You're like, well, I want to take it, but no, sometimes like a person comes to mind, like, oh, you know what, I'll give that to Lori, you know, and see if she can do it and bless her and be a blessing to other people. I think that's
And real quick, and you have to be careful, like what she said, because you try to take it on and your energy isn't right.
yeah.
So it's the outcome's gonna come out for, but I can't even tell you how many times I knew Leslie would cook. I knew Leslie. And I'm like, this is great. And I'm like, this is courage. So.
This question will kind of address that. So what's the biggest challenge?
No, I'm not worried.
That was my answer.
I know, that was like, Senator, how much do you charge this? Oh, well, I'm not coming out for no less than 300, is that okay?
Yeah.
And they look at me like, no, I have like 4 hours, well, 7 of them. So yeah, just knowing that work, that was my biggest, and trusting and believing it too. Because people can tell you check. So, yeah.
I would say, just kind of like transition, moms mentoring moms to like not be like other organizations. Like I want to give and I want to provide like services to help, but I know that my main goal at the end of the day is to empower. Like I want you to come, I want you to sit in the class, I want you to receive, but next year I want you to be a mentor. You know, next year I want you to be in a different place. I don't want you to have to come and continue to need these services. And certain things are, you know, for a season, but that mindset and mind change to know that I can move a little bit further. I don't always need to be doing the receiving. There needs to be a time in my life where I'm on the giving.
For me, entrepreneurship is such a mind game because you are fighting with yourself. You're fighting with your self-esteem. You're fighting with whether or not what you offer actually has value, whether or not people want it. I mean, it's a constant mental and emotional struggle. And you have to get to a point where you believe in what you're doing enough to stand 10 toes down in it. And you have to, realize that what you're doing, they call it social proof. And like for this first year, I've just been proving whether or not my product is viable. Will people buy it? And if people buy it, do they come back for a second purchase? That is your social proof. If you get people to come back and make multiple purchases, that lets you know that what you're offering has value. And I have to stand on that because it's like, when you start, you don't know, like you're just guessing at it. But when people start to value what you're offering, that'll give you the strength to say, okay. And that's when, you start to value what you're offering and your prices go up. Mm-hmm. And you're like, you know what? I'm still not charging enough. If I want to do retail and wholesale, for me to make a profit at wholesale, I'm gonna have to raise the prices. Mm-hmm. So you have to, so whatever that price is, the numbers determine, your cost and your expenses. That determines what your percentage of profit determines what you're going to sell everything at. So when you start doing on the wholesale level, and if you're not making enough money, you're going to have, but you have to be able to be unapologetic about your prices. Because if a person comes and says, "Oh, that's too hot," they're not your customer. Because your customer is going to say, "Here's my card. I'll take one of each." And I have had that happen. Well, I've had 6 of these flavors. I can't pick. Just give me one of each. And that's when hey, I'm onto something. And they didn't argue about the price. That's your customer. Not the person that's just, can you come? No, I can't come now. That's not your customer. So wait for your customer. Yeah.
Yeah. I did what everybody said. The only thing I will add was, so I said earlier I was questioning my worth, but I was also questioning my talent. So I teach healthy cooking classes. I did not go to culinary school. I was self-taught. I worked in a lot of kitchens. But going back to healthy cooking, and I felt like I was a hypocrite for a moment because I'm like, why am I teaching healthy cooking, but I like ice cream? Oh, I like cake, so I was like, I like these other things too. So I was feeling like convicted of it for a minute. So, but at the end, my friend was telling me it's not about like we all struggle with that. Like you're being human and you're being relatable because you're not the only one that's struggling with that. So let's keep it real. So in business, you got to be real. And that's what sells. The human factor, like I said, the struggle, let your struggle be your success story. I totally believe that. Because I was like, yeah, I teach healthy cooking classes, but for a long time I struggled with food. And I tell people that. I'm not ashamed to tell people that. So but I have a talent. I can cook my butt off. I can. And my service has sold. It's not about what you look like, it's not about who you are, it's again, what I said earlier, is how do you make people feel? Our businesses should be making an impact in this community. And if it's not, you should be in business, period. So I'm like, you know what, I've really made an impact. And when I was questioning it, I remember one time I was at the store and there was a little kid, she was like 7. So she ran up to me to the store. She's like, Chef Danny, Chef Danny. And so the mother came up and she's like, Chef Danny, my daughter has told me so much about your classes. We're actually looking for eggplant right now to make some eggplant fries. And thank you so much for your class. And I thought, I was almost a terrible, like, I make so I knew that. I'm like, okay, this is it's about the service and what I'm giving back to the community. So it reminded me, yeah, you do have talent. Because a lot of us question it. You're like, I don't think I can do it. There's all this competition out here. I mean, how can I stand out? But then you go back to your story because your story sells. And if you can make it relatable and touch the emotional side and the human side of every single person, you will win. You will win in your business. And you will win with yourself. You're like, I won. I'm doing great. So that's what I would say about that.
Yeah, and I just want to say something else, like giving back. This is us giving back, because I could be at home on the sofa watching K-drama, but I want to keep it real. I want to be honest. I don't want to sugarcoat it. But this is hard, and you will doubt yourself. It will take you a long time to trust yourself. But you have to be as committed to your business as you are to anything else.
It's funny to reflect back off of some of the stuff you said. The point where I'm at right now, the biggest struggle would be, I guess, the word to know my brand, because there's been multiple pop-ups and I went to it like when your prices go. And that's been in Cleveland, but when I'm here, when I'm home, people are comfortable with it. So maybe I'm being too comfortable and the people around me are not raising the value what I think it is. and then I'm learning and doing those more. I would say those are probably the big struggles, but also learning. And the part about me being more spontaneous and outgoing, that I'm not afraid to venture out. Because at first, when I first got started, I was like, I'm afraid to expand this because I was comfortable here. So now as time went on and actually started doing stuff in other cities, I realized I need to go, because then who knows where this can go. So that's where I'll say that was the biggest struggle. I think I was going through that, and even now, still trying to figure out, well, if I make changes, will I still have the love? And I think I need to get my mind out of that part and see if really it's still there. Yeah.
All right. What goals do you have for your business within the next 5 years?
Goals.
Do your business.
I actually think about it every day. So I can give you a spiel story. This is literally what I think about every time I'm doing something in the next 5 years. I know I should have my own store. I should have my own people.
You will have.
Will have. I said the wrong will have. I had it in my head to say it. Okay. Will have my own store. And I also will have multiple people get jobs doing things that I'm trying to do for them. There's gonna be a lot of things for community, just with Kenny, because I'm also learning off him. He will be the mentor referral for me because all the community stuff he's doing, I'm learning from it, but I also want to do it a different way than how he's doing for the community. I want to work on people's minds and make them motivated to keep that stuff going. So everything I always think about for the next 5 years, I know this is going to be where it needs to be. So I want to make sure my friends and family and people around me are where they also. So that's my main passion of every 5 years, even for next year. I know I'm going to have somebody where they need to be looking like this.
Sorry, excuse me. With the opening of the cooking school, I want people to be excited about cooking, and also for the young kids that are interested in culinary, we want them to know that you can succeed in the food business. It's not just serving, but if you want to be a baker, if you want to own your own food truck, if you want to have a cooking school, the sky's the limit. Like, you can do anything. So I want to be that influencer or motivational speaker or mentor to let them know that you can succeed in this business. Also, I plan to have a cooking, maybe my own cookware. So I have Sip Saver Soul, cooking school, Sip Saver Soul kitchen. So think about Sip Saver Soul wear or something, Sip Saver Soul enterprise. I gotta network. So move over Bobby's way. He can, he can retire. Chef Ramsey can retire. I'd like to try out for Master Chef again. I actually tried out back in 2012, and I came close to be on TV. So I would like to try out. I will try out. Yes. Sorry, I will. Sorry. Yeah. All right. I will try out again. And I will get married. Yeah. In the name of Jesus. So this is going to be a partnership. Right. So that's.
I will be a multi-time vendor at Essence Fest. You will be able to buy my candles at Saxon Avenue, in the Market, for Goodman, and the Smithsonian African Museum. Yes. That's right. But what I want to tell you guys, you don't have to do your business alone. I have 3 mentors, three engaged mentors that are invested in seeing me succeed and take advantage of the entrepreneurial ecosystem here. Like I was talking about Crafty Mark for people who have products that you work with your hands. If you're like make crafty items, start with Crafty Mark. They have a pitch contest after their master session. And I won that pitch contest. It was $2,000. That helped my business. And part of that winning was for me to go into the Bounce Motor program, which was another I think it was 12 or 15 weeks. And that's just you get a mentor with them. And it's just building upon your business, and you have to give a pitch, and all the pitches that you do, all the practices that you do, gets you more comfortable speaking about your business and talking about your business. And then I won that pitch. That was $3,000. They just had their latest pitches. It's up to $4,000 now. The winnings. So, and they're going to be starting their next one in September, in the coming weeks. And I'm going to be a mentor for that cohort. So you don't have to do it alone. There are programs out there to assist you. Free programs. Get into the ecosystem. Learn from other entrepreneurs, and increase your skill. Like, if you want to expand your friendships, get into the ecosystem. You get friends who are on the same journey that you are, and you can help each other.
Moms mentoring moms of Summit County, moms mentoring moms of Stark County, moms mentoring moms of County, moms mentoring moms. I am just super passionate because parenting is the foundation. It is the foundation of where your child is going to be able to like spring from. So if the foundation is not strong, if it's not steady, I mean, a lot of times kids are growing up, and I try my best to be, you know, the best mom that I could be, you know, and you still miss. But if I can help moms see like the value in intentional parenting, what that looks like, not to just parent on autopilot, because that's what happens a lot of times. That's what you see when you go to restaurants and you go, you know, to the malls. It's like literally phones are raising kids, TVs are raising kids, social media, all these things are raising kids, except the person that's supposed to be raising the child, which is the parent. So we can get back to intentional parenting, you know, not just parenting based on the culture, because this influencer said parent this way, or this person. Let's get back to what the United States was built on, the word of God, the true word of God. So I'm passionate about that, and I would like to see this program in these different counties, just by starting locally in local churches and small groups, and there being a person to lead that. And I don't want to be the only person doing this. So yeah.
I am going to switch gears. Oh, so I don't know, but I mean, you have to be honest with yourself first. So, but the direction I am heading in now is to be a full-blown coach and consultant, so I can help create a band of food entrepreneurs to rise and be what they want to be. So pass off what I know, show you how to do it, and then I'll just sit at the top up here and help you along the way. I woke up about a week and a half ago. I was like, I just want to get paid and I do a lot of work. My husband looked at me like I was crazy, and I was like, I guess I'm just tired of cooking, even though I love doing it. But like, I'm really going to do it on my terms. Yeah. And even though I do it on my terms, I still have to do it to make ends meet and make, you know, pay bills. I really want to do it when I want to do it. So I think if I pass on my knowledge and help build those that like to cook, and that's truly what they want to do, I'll get the joy to see them do it, and then I'll be able to cook what I want to cook, and I'll be able to coach and consult them, because I'm better at doing that. I've learned that I'm better at giving advice and holding people to do it than me taking my own advice and doing it myself.
With that, this is probably the most important question. As an entrepreneur, what problem are you solving through your business?
I just answered that. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, it's not that I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm like a squirrel. I see something shiny. Like, that's a great idea. I'm gonna go over there, and I'll start doing it. Before I know it, I done came back up here, and I done went around there, and then I went around the barn, and then I went down the hole, and came up the hill, and went down the roller coaster. So that's my biggest thing, is just keeping focused, because we already do believe we can do all these many different things, and some of us probably do 2, maybe 3 at the most effectively. But really, you need to do 1, because you know something is going to lack. Try to do too many things at one time. So that is the biggest.
What problem are you?
Yes, that's the problem. My problem is like sticking on one path and giving that one path my all. That's my biggest problem. So I may go real hard for 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 months, and before I know it, I'll set it to the side for a little bit, go over here. I mean, I'll still kind of keep it on simmer, but then I'll go over here. So it seems like I still don't feel I completely flourish as well as I can flourish, because I really haven't just given it the 10 toes down. I may you get 3 toes here, 6 toes over there, and 1 right there.
One toe at a time.
So that's my biggest problem, is staying focused and really just like staying focused and going down the road to get done. But I mean, I'm clearly doing something right, because I can see that I am excelling.
So, I wanna read the question.
What
What
that?
problem are you solving your business for your customers?
Oh, I didn't know that. You, okay, that's okay.
I have no problem. So, you don't want you're helping them.
So I did not answer that question.
Because you gave us some more good advice.
Yes.
Definitely, solving the problem in the home is building healthy children. Being intentional to build healthy children, which build healthy families, units, which build healthy communities, which build healthy nations.
This question used to trip me up because I'm selling candles. So it's not really solving a problem. So if you have a product or service that isn't solving a problem, you have to sell them the vision. So what is the vision for your business? And that is all based around your branding, how you brand your business, your marketing message, your tagline. And with the vision that I am selling is that I am creating candle fragrances based off of our shared memories and experience. Like I have a candle that's called Grandma's Garden. And that candle is inspired by me being a little girl in my grandmother's kitchen, watching her garden and just watching her do something that she loves. And now, I took that feeling of watching her just do what she loves, and what does that feeling smell like? What does the feeling of me watching my grandmother do something she loved, what does that smell like? So I took those feelings and I interpreted it into a scent. Did you guys see it? I just showed you a vision. So if you don't have a problem, you sell them vision. See, that's
Yeah, I was in this visual.
Yeah, I did not bring Grandma's Garden with me, but that's what I'm talking about. If you're not saying you're solving a problem with helping mothers and parents, that if you didn't have an example of a good mother, you don't really know how to be a good. So that's the problem. So you're solving that problem. I'm not solving it, but I'm selling vision. So even with you, what's the vision?
Yeah, I can't help it. I feel like we are, well, in my business, Sip Savor Soap is bringing families together one recipe at a time. We are fighting childhood hunger, but not just childhood hunger, family hunger. It's huge. Throughout my classes, I have so many stories, but I noticed that in my classes, sometimes the recipe that we're making is their last meal of the day. So, and I've had kids where they wouldn't eat because they want to give it to their mom that's still at work, so they won't eat it. So what we want to do is, like I said, we're fighting childhood hunger and family hunger, but we're also connecting them to the farmers markets and local community gardeners. And we've been working with Wendy, Akron, and all the farmers markets out there to give people access to fresh food, affordable food, and just something to be proud of, because the food that you're eating through our live cooking classes with Jennifer and I, that it came from your backyard. It's something to be very proud of. We have a lot of growers out there. And also too, again, with my business, I changed the way people think about food. And I have kids that are excited, like I shared about the eggplant story. Kids are excited about zucchini. And also, we are also getting parents, there's a lot of parents in here, back to cooking, because a lot of my classes, I've had the parents drop their kids off. I'm like, no, you stay there. You're cooking with your kids, so we're bringing them together. And I have a really quick story about that. So we were teaching a class of how to turn your salad from a side dish to a main dish. And we had a mother and a daughter. She was maybe 13. So, they came in kind of angry. And so they started cooking, and then I saw them engaging. And so after the class, the lady comes up to me, she was in tears. She said, this is the first time I actually connected with my daughter. So I was like, "Oh, she's like, "Okay, you know what, I'm making a commitment to her that we're cooking 2 nights a week." And I was like, oh my God, we're bringing families together. You know, so that's what I love. I love doing what I do because you can food brings people together. It brings relationships together. And so it brings hope. I mean, and that's what I want in the school. It's not just eating meals. We're having people come together of different races, different backgrounds. Doesn't matter if you cook or not. You know, you can come in and have a seat at the table. You know, we're gonna cook and we're gonna eat together. So I'm all about bringing the business has brought communities together.
I guess what I'd say for the problem solving for customers, especially just with the image, I always try to implement the idea of my design for people to see. So like when I talk about mental health, every time I bring mental health, I'm gonna force it into people's mind that your mental health is not negotiable. That's gonna be on everything I do every year. That's gonna keep happening every year. And every time you see it, your mental health is not negotiable.
So why is it non-negotiable?
Because it's meant for you and you only to not let nobody get inside. And so
Do you have a story, a personal story behind that?
between this, yep, because when I was younger, because when I was younger, I never understood it. I seen family members go through things I just couldn't understand. So as time went on, my brother, he makes music and he went to Columbus. Haven't heard from my brother, didn't hear from him 2 years. Next thing I know, he came home, he was like, yeah, I was home. But he didn't tell nobody because it's hard. And he was like, he didn't want to tell anybody because he didn't want anybody to worry. But me being a younger brother and then like seeing the older brother struggle, I was like, I'm still not understanding. And he's like, I'm depressed. And then I realized when I see his patterns and how he do things, I'm like, I think I'm starting to understand. I'm like, not only was my brother, it's my aunt. It's like my family. So I was trying to understand, I was like, why is my family they're so down and struggling with things. And I'm like, me being this hyperactive person, so happy all the time, I was be around people and do this and that. And I was like, I gotta just sit back and look and understand it better. And then as I saw the things I was doing, it was actually making them happier. It was bringing them up because I was trying to fight through and force things that they didn't see was possible. So that's why every time when I say your mental health is not negotiable, it's because even though I wasn't understanding it as best as I am, and I'm trying to now, that's why I'm tell their story so I can hear it physically. That's why I'm like, okay, now I see where you're going and stuff I can't understand from your mind, but I feel like I can help you even more and feel like the best at that. So that's where
Now, let me ask, who gets a better vision of what his clothing line is about after you gave that story? Yeah, that's selling the vision.
Is that what's on your shirt?
Yep.
Mental health is on.
Yep.
That would be a hashtag.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. That's
You have
awesome.
to have to say that you're,
Yeah.
you have to tell them why.
Definitely.
And to help them understand why, tell your story, and help them connect with you and see themselves in it.
I love that.
And then just to add on top of that, my cousin, it was something about him. And after pretty much his mom, when she passed away, he changed. He wasn't the same person. He wasn't the motivated cousin as I knew. So every time we hung around, he was like, yo, cuz I need you. Or it was like, you feel like somebody's draining you, but they're not trying to personally drain you. They're not trying to take it from you. So it's like every time I was around him, I was like, I need to go home, or I need to like step away from him because he just like, I need you, or I'm trying to do this, but I can't do it. I'm just like, you better. I was like, there's something, I know you go out and do something, you got it. But now I'm like, DJ, you're not the same. That's his name. Like, you're not the same. You're not the loose, like, you out here, you can get it. That's the vibe you always have. Then after that, you're like, I need help. I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, I know you got it. I'm your little cousin. I know you got it. So just pretty much just on that and the clothing stuff. I just always feel like I can implement. So we already know, just throw the vision, what Black Lives Matter is. We can talk about it every day. We can give scenarios, but I'm always want to put it in a different way because of school. So I'll give the image. When I was in school, I took sign language, but everybody doesn't really use it, so it's not as important. So I put it on something that's important for all of us because of our lives. So now when people see it and say, what does that say? And I tell them, then I give them stories. So they already seen it on TV. So now you see it on clothes. You be like, this is what I mean. And I mean that every day.
So,
Yeah, I was gonna say we have 2 more questions left. Library closes at 8, it's 7:17. I think we can get through and then have a few minutes for people to kind of network.
Yeah.
As long as we are out of this room by like, let's say 7:55, so we can lock up. But I want, this next question is so, it's kind of a little rough, I think, but I think it's important. So, yeah. So, you know, ask you about that. What is your exit strategy? Yeah.
I can never start the exit. I'm not too sure. I've dug so deep into what I'm doing now. It's like, I don't think really I see an exit just yet. I feel like this is where it felt good doing this. So it just feels like I need to make this as best as I can. I end up seeing myself exit to something else. Because every time I've been venturing out and doing other jobs, something told me, nope, this is where it needs to be. So I'll just sit there.
Lord, help me win the Powerball. No, I've been praying. His shirt, men's off is not negotiable. The exit is not negotiable, really. It's like, I'm really spiritual. And I remember I saw this, I was at Hobby Lobby and I saw this, this quote said that, like, if God planted that in your dream, then he wants you to manifest it. Like, what, it was something like that. Like, if he planted it in your dream, why would you think he would want you to manifest it? If he already planted it in your spirit, if you feel really passionate about, like, I know without a shadow of a doubt, this is what God is going to do. The only exit strategy is death, really. Now, right now, like, if another exit strategy would be for me to sell my business, like, man, it's grown so much. I get to sell it to a Fortune 500 company and I get to retire and travel around the world. You know, that's, I will do that. That's my, but besides that, it has to be done. Because, like, a lot of people, like, they put so much into this. This is blood, sweat, tears. You know, this is, you know, she's done 3 businesses, but she's like, this is my life. This, you know, that's her. This is her. You know, so is me. This is him, you know, and that's gone, I'm gone. You know, that's what it comes down to. So I never really, the exit strategy that I thought of was those 2 things. Like, if I die or I sell my business and I get to live a beautiful, fabulous life for the rest of my life. So that's my sure. Yeah.
For me, I do have an exit strategy. Actually, this is not my passion. This is just like I said, I started with a partner and it was really her passion. But you wouldn't know it by the way I market it. You wouldn't know it, and that tells me I'm doing my job. So I would like to grow it to a 7-figure business. I'd like to sell it to a Black-owned conglomerate. And then I would like to buy a house on the lake and then do what my passion actually is, which is fashion. Yeah, I went to Kent State for fashion design. Yeah. Yeah, that's all.
All right, so I kind of get it added a little bit. I know that I can't be the only person to do this, so, I mean, the goal would be to literally pass this on and have someone else catch the vision, catch the baton, and then be able to come out of it and it's just still flourishing, because I believe that the way that we should structure our businesses is that it will still continue no matter if we're here or not, that it should just still be able to produce. So somebody has to be able to take our place or walk in our shoes, whether it's our children or a mentee or whatever. So, yeah, I can move on to something else. I found that I like to do conventions for women this past year. So that's something that I'm going to continue to do. And so I think too, the older that we get, the older that you get, like your mind begins to expand. You'll experience more. And then it's like, oh, you want to do this, and just being open to the possibilities of doing something different. Yeah.
I would like my exit strategy to be, I don't know if this is what it's gonna be, but to build a brand of personal service that actually become a household name. Then it gets up to all those nice zeros. And I don't know, I might sell it, I might not, it depends. But it would definitely be handed off. And I may just be at the top. But, and if that doesn't happen, or if I stay there, then I fall into the issues. And that's just, transitioning to the upper room.
I would love to be able to pass this business on to my kids, but they work in tech. They both, my daughter works in med tech, my son works in systems. And they just have absolutely, they're supportive, but have no interest in them. Yeah, so I wouldn't force this on them. So my exit strategy would be to.
So that's right. So the next question, what advice would you give to someone that wants to start a business?
Are you sure? Are you positive? Are you positive? Are you sure you're positive? And then I would probably, I would have to ask those things first. And then, once I figure that part out, the advice is make sure that's what you want to do. Because I do career days, and I tell the students, like, you can't change horses in a moving race. I've done it. So I know it can be done. But the advice is just make sure you follow your heart, make sure that's what you want to do, because you have to have grit. There's a little book, it's called Grit, read it. And make sure you live up to that, because it's not about just, I use my example. It's not because there's so many people who want to cook who think just because they know how to cook, they're going to have a great business. So you have to really, the advice is be ready to put in the hard work, be ready to learn, be ready to have an open mind. Do not be scared to fail, not take yourself serious. And if you can answer those 4 questions I asked in the beginning and take everything I just told you, then you may be on your way. And if you feel like giving up, hey, you can stop for a moment and let it simmer and come back. You don't have to keep beating your head to the wall.
I would say that your business should come from, it doesn't have to, but if it comes from like your passion or your desire or what you feel like you're called to do, that helps to like really just stabilize you in the winds and storms, because everything is gonna come to make you stop, to make you stop. But if you are like passionate about what you're doing and you feel like this is what I've been born to do, and you just hold there no matter what, I just feel like that's just know why you're doing what you're doing.
Start with your why.
Know that mission, know that vision, and just hold to that. And then also like get a mentor. Like to me, that is like priceless. It doesn't really, I mean, invest into yourself. Like it doesn't, don't let the cost of a mentor like steer you away. I have a mentor now, I've had, mentors in the past, and it's an investment into yourself so that you won't have to figure everything out, because you don't have to figure everything out. There are, especially in for-profit business, and even though it's a nonprofit, you still can make profit. It's not that, but for-profit businesses, I mean, you don't want to just jump in a lake and just like, you don't have, there's no need to do that. Like you can literally count up the cost and get evaluations and talk to somebody that can let you know, does that make financial sense? Does it make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, then be cautious. Like don't let your passion and your fuel just push you to do something that financially is not adding up on the papers. You know what I mean? Even though you feel like, hey, I got this, but it needs to make sense. It needs to make financial sense. Unless you just got it like that, you can go ahead and take a huge risk. And I know we're entrepreneurs, we're gonna, take risks. So I would say mentorship, investing into yourself, know why you started your business and just be passionate about it. And then if you do have a business that you're not passionate about, I mean, I feel like that's okay too. That they just gotta make you some serious money. Let it work for you and let it make you some money. Yeah, so.
My advice is to not be so emotionally invested in your company that you become unteachable. Because people get so protective of their business when no one can give them any advice. And it's hard to grow a business if you're only looking at it through your own lens. So like you say, get mentors. Like I said, I have 3. I got one from the motor program, one from the Next Level program, and one I took a webinar with SCORE, and I was so impressed by the guy who gave it. I called him and said, "Will you be my mentor?" And he said, "Yes, I will be your mentor." So I have 3, and I cross in this 3 different minds that I'm processing. Every move I make through. So the thing is, keep learning. I would not really suggest books to learn about business, because we live in such, everything moves so fast that by the time the book is printed, it's out of date. So if you like for mindset stuff, yeah, those books. But for like business practices, marketing strategies, I would not go to a book. You'll do like SCORE webinars, get into the programs like Crappy Motor, because we are constantly updating the information. But stay teachable, stay open to other people's advice, because sometimes they can see things that you cannot. Just keep learning and treat the business side of your business as well as you treat the creative side. Pay your taxes. Make sure you're on top of your income and your expenses. Make sure you're on top of your costs and how much money you're making. What your profit percentage, what your percentages are. Those are just as important as the service that you provide or the product that you offer.
Excuse me. I would say if you want to get in business to make good some money, you should be in business. The question you should ask is the business that you want to do so badly, would you do it for free if you weren't getting any income? Now the answer is no. Should be business. For me, I started cooking at a very young age. Started at 4, my great grandmother. And I always loved cooking. I remember like when I was work or school, I always wanted to bring something like, here, try it. Did they all taste good in the beginning? Some, but I perfected my craft. But I could do it for free if I wanted to. Like that's how much I love my business. So I would say before you start to get into a business, I would make sure you have experience in it first. Like if it's something that you would do all the time. So like if it's cooking, you want to be a chef, okay, get some experience, like work at a restaurant, work in a kitchen, get your feet wet, because maybe you're like, you know what, I like it, but I don't know if I could do this as a business. I like working, somebody. You know, if you like fashion, let me see if I can make a few things. See if I can make a shirt or make a hat. You know, if I really, really like it, you know, I can really do this thing. You know, so I would get your feet wet first in that thing that you want to do. If it's consulting, let me try a few things myself. You know, I feel like I'm a consultant. Let me try a few things myself. So get your feet wet before you take that leap to dive into business, because it's a whole nother beast. A business is a full-time job. It's overtime. It's all that. And you have to commit to that. You have to make sure, do I have the time? Look at your life. Okay, I have kids, I have a husband, I'm caring for an ailing parent. I like to travel. I like to spend money. Okay, now do you think you should be a business owner? The life that you have right now, do you have space to be a business owner? And if you do not, you know, that maybe it's not for you. Or you know what, I'm willing to give up all those things. And I doubt it, but I'm willing to give up all of it to be a business owner. Would you give it up? You know, would you give up your life to have a business, which it becomes your life? Period. So you really have to evaluate that. And last but not least, like Lori said about the mentor, find a mentor in that field you want to get into. So if it's candle making, there's tons of businesses out there that specialize in that. You know, talk to them, you know, spend a date with them, what their life is like. If it's fashion, you know, go to that store and be like, you know what, I really want to be in a fashion business. Can I work with you for a day? Can I see what your operations look like? And then you look at it, you're like, wait a minute, you know, I'll support you. I'll come to your store, but I don't know if I want the business plan. So I would recommend this.
Just to go off that, when you're talking about having feet wet, originally I wasn't thinking about clothes. It was just the art side. So when I dug in first, then I applied my art to clothes to see how I took and how I felt. After I realized I actually liked that, that's what I dug into people. So I would say the part that's big, so get your feet wet and be open-minded, be really open-minded. And if you trust really what you are into and you're open-minded and just explore and go talk to people, you'll find a group of people in the path you need to go. Because it's just what happened. I'm partnered with this guy right over here, Kenny. Everything, you'll know the people and who you can work around, who you can learn from, because it'll feel easy and it'll feel normal. So that's the advice I would give.
I'd like to add one last thing. I think something that's super important about business is knowing your customer. Like absolutely, like everybody is not your customer, and being able to niche down as small as possible and being okay with turning away those customers that do not fit in that niche, because there's enough people out here that are in that niche that you are reaching for. You're gonna waste a lot of time and money if you think that everybody is your customer, because everybody is not your customer.
I would say to add to that point, that's why I didn't say anything about mentors, because a lot of people I was looking up to trying to follow, I wasn't grasping or getting the same thing they were getting from. So I had to stay away from those that I thought I was going to learn from. And people that went to my high school and the guy that actually been going big in California, I was trying to follow him, and I realized that that wasn't working. So I had to step back and realize what I do best, and then apply it to people I know that love what I'm doing.
Yeah, and another piece, just be very mindful of your investment, your financial investment in your business. You know, grow as organically and as slowly as you possibly can, you know, without putting yourself in a whole lot of debt. You know, just, you know, don't like off the bat start with, like, I'm just gonna put everything I have in it. No, you start as small as you need to, so that you're not putting a strain on yourself, your family financially. You just grow, you know, because I have yet to like go into debt for my business. I am the only person in it. And so I do it out of my home. So I'm purposely keeping my overhead low. That way I can afford my insurance, you know, pay my taxes, stuff. But yeah, keep it, because if the growth will come, but be very methodical, be very slow and organic about it. Keep yourself as debt free as you can.
Yeah, and I'm saying real quickly too, because you don't need a bunch of credit cards, line of credit, put your house up for as equity or whatever. You don't need to do any of those things just yet. I like what she said, the word organic. You want to start like that. And I remember when I started, I remember just cooking for free for a minute. So people provided the food and I cooked. And then I did get a lot of love offerings. There's a lot of love out there. I did get a lot of love offerings. And like, we can pay you. But people knew who I was, and then who I became. And then, so that love offering turned into like investments because of my connections. That word of mouth is powerful, very powerful. So, but you have to be careful regarding the word of mouth. What's your mouth look like? Like it's tough sometimes. And sometimes, this is a little side up, but sometimes we might have attitudes, we're tired, and I don't want to cook today because or there's only one person here today, but you know what? I make that the best experience. And you know what? That person tells another person, and another person, and then you get a check in $5,000. You're like, wow, wait a minute, where did that? And you get a card like, you know what? Someone took your class, and here's a little something to bring you some joy today, and keep doing what you're doing with the kids. And you're like, wow, like I don't remember that. And then it takes you back to that one day when one person was there who told a multitude of people. Like the word of mouth spreads like wildfire. But you gotta be careful of how you present yourself, right? Makes all the difference.
You never know.
Never know.
The rooms that your name is being mentioned in.
Yeah.
When PBS called me, I was like, how do you know about me? And it was so when the reporter came, I asked, how did you find out about me? Somebody who bought a candle and was so impressed by the candle, knew somebody at PBS that you should interview her for a show. And then that's how it happened. So you never know. Like just people who believe in the vision of your business or believe in the mission of your business, and believe in, but you have to have, that's all about having your stuff in order, your branding, your messaging, so that you're communicating it properly. And as a Black owned business, be prepared for some pushback. Be like, I've done shows, like it's hard to do a show by yourself, but my son is helping. And I had a woman ask me if she could rent my son for the weekend. Oh, yes. I mean, that's, you kind of expect stuff, but that was so slavey, right? So auction block. And, and I have to, check her without, losing business. So, and then people, why Black culture? Why not? You don't mind celebrating, Irish on, St. Patrick's Day. You don't mind, celebrating Italian culture. Why can't I celebrate Black culture? So you be prepared for some pushback and go through those scenarios in your mind so they don't catch you off guard. They don't catch you off guard. But the woman asked me to rent my son, that caught me completely off guard. I was not expecting. It caught my son off guard too.
Right.
Yeah. So
and I also think last too, you got to learn how to serve people that don't look like you.
Yes.
Don't be afraid. You got to get out your comfort zone. Yeah. You got to get out your comfort zone because this is Black culture candle, but this is for all culture candle.
I would take
like it.
I was surprised. 70% of my candle sales are to non-Black people. So that means only 30% of my customers are Black.
Yeah. And a lot of my cooking classes, like I really target low income neighborhoods, but that's only like a tiny percentage. I have classes, I have kids coming from Hudson, Macedonia, Canton, Talmadge. And you're like, well, we want to support the community, but you know what? If they don't support you, it's okay. You're going to find people that's going to support you. And if they don't look like you, it doesn't matter. That is totally,
money's green.
Money's great. That's all right. Yeah.
All right. We want to give an opportunity for anyone who might have a question for any of the panelists to go for it.
Hi. Folks, my name is Ricky. I'm with Cleveland Clinic. I'm in orthopedics. My question, since I'm going to be transitioning over here to Kenmore sometime soon, if y'all were trying to pitch your business to the Friends organization who has money, how would you pitch your business to me because we would buy something from you and use it at the book sale. So you would benefit and would help get your name out there. Anybody can take that question.
Okay, first of all, I would look you up. I would have to know your mission and vision statements. I would have to know what your organization is about. Then I would tailor my pitch to align with your mission and vision statement.
Anyone?
She can answer it, right?
Because I would put it to how Black Culture Candles can be a benefit to your organization and people you serve. That would be mine.
Number one, the hospital. It's warm coming into the hospital that you can sell your candles. It will be a good film.
See, that's tricky. I worked in hospital administration, and selling things that have fragrances can be an irritant to people in hospitals. So I would have to offer a different kind of product. So maybe wax melts or something that I would have to tailor a product specific for your organization. That's why I would go and look at your mission and vision statement, because if it doesn't align with my business, it's not a good opportunity.
Well, here at the library. Here at the library.
At the library, like I said, I would have to look at your mission and vision statement.
And I do cooking classes like with Cleveland Clinic and Summit, and we do specialty classes. So what we do is we target a certain health issue, whether it's diabetes, cardiovascular health, and we actually bring in a medical professional to talk about that part of it. And then I come in to do a cooking lesson that targets that specific thing. So we recently did like a plant-based cooking, because a lot of folks want to learn about plant-based. A lot of folks are really conscious about what they're eating, what's put in their bodies. And so we did a class like that with Suma. So it just depends on, like, if you have a theme, or we could do some, or how many people, and so we would have to kind of talk about that.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to piggyback off what she's saying, because I have to know what your outcome is, because food is just so versatile. Is it more health related? Is it more culturally related? Like, what are you looking to get out of this demonstration of the food? I'm assuming that's probably what it would be, since it's in a library. But you never know. I mean, y'all might be having a party.
Yeah, if you're having a party, I can make you a candle. If you're having a gala or an event or something, yeah, I can make a candle to put as centerpieces on your table. But so like I said, I would have to know more about, I can't just go in and just pitch blind. You don't get business by going and pitch blind. You have to know who the person is that you're selling to and what their vision is. Yeah, you have to know what
And registration too, because I would need an estimate of how many people are coming, because recently I did a cooking class for 100 kids, made all those food kits for them, and only 12 showed up. All that work. Not that I get paid, I did, but I would need to know, because we're taking the time out to make sure that they have this great experience. And I pause I get excited when I go to class, that's when that Sasha Pierce come out, different person. So I get excited about it, very passionate about it. But then, my morale just kind of drops, because I'm like, what happened to the other 80 kids? Like, did they forget it? And where are all these other bags, So that happened twice. And I had another class, 25 people. They're like, 25 people sign up. I need you to make 25 food kits. We did 3 recipes. So imagine all that food, made all those bags.
Somebody else have a question?
Yeah, so.
I do want to get a picture after. Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, thank you guys for all for being here. This was like super last minute for me to be here. My mom told me, I'm just like, okay, you want me to come also for what I've been like super duper unmotivated. I'm actually an entrepreneur as well. And I was away for like a couple months, and then I really just killed my motivation. And just being back here, just listening to your stories, they kind of like ignited, and I missed going at them is having something that's set my soul on fire. Because I'm practicing my business stuff on a smaller scale, but it's just like, I started it, and financially, emotionally, like just everywhere around. I was like, do I even want to do this? But you guys here just being so authentic and so open, like it inspired me to just get back into the game. It's like, it's not about me, you know, someone, I could be in a room just like this one time, and then someone could, like, there's not even 15 people here, but like me just being here transformed with my life. So.
Those kids are want to come. Yeah. I quit my business every week. I don't want to do this, but you know, there's a fire. I see that there's a fire that you stoke and you get it done. You know, because there's no other alternative. Like I said, I'm unemployed. You know, I
related to that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I thought it was Amazon for all of 30 seconds. You want to show up, right?
Yeah. And you know, and like a few weeks ago, I was just burnt out. I was burnt out. I just couldn't, you know, even my body started to shut down. And I had to walk away for like 2 weeks and just rest and restore. You know, so when you listen to the cues of your body, it will tell you need to sit down.
Yes, yeah, that's one thing I will tell you. I don't remember the last time I burnt out because I won't burn out. Because when I burn out, I'm just not, it's not nice. So, and I burnt that. So it's like, I don't burn out. I won't burn out. I'm not doing it. Ta-da. Yeah.
Like I said, I'll be in business a year next month. So this is my first burnout because I have been hitting the ground running, you know, for like 18 months before I launched, just hitting the ground running. So then I was like, my body said, stop, you know, just stop. So I had to just take 2 weeks off to just rest and restore. So yeah, you want to have, like I said, I quit my business once a week, you know. So, I don't want to do this, you know. But you just keep going because you wouldn't rather do anything else.
And God planted that in you, like I said earlier today. He planted it in you. So it may be delayed, it's not denied. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and we all need to take risks. I've cried lots. And I foster children. This is my daughter. So I have a business and a baby. And I remember in this value decision, I'm like, should I continue to foster? Should I continue to do this? Because someone told me maybe you need to let that go. I was like, no, it's a calling. Just like my business, it's a calling. I can't let it go because he gave it. He gave it to you. You can't let it go. And that fire, we all take breaks. So, you know, our flame might be dim, but it's not out.
Right.
So it's okay. It's okay to have a breakdown. I think all of us had it. All of us. And don't be afraid. Trust me, I had a few. But you know, even I couldn't even sleep at night, but that passion was like just keeps you going, keeps that fire burning. So it's okay. We've all been there. And then, you know, Wendy has this again, you'll be here.
Yeah. You'll be sitting right next to
it. I mean, just for the record, 3 days ago, I was just on the phone with my husband. I was like, well, don't you know that dark hole? I told you about a little bit ago. He's like, yeah, I was like, I'm going down the road. He was like, reset. So you're not alone.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for that comment because it summed up. I was really wanting to say, to me, this was very helpful hearing these stories. I hope this was helpful to all of you. I want to offer each and every one of you my sincere gratitude. I'm very grateful to have you here. Very grateful to know you, and I'd love to work with you in the future and network some. Unfortunately, we do have to. We have the stuff. We got to lock the library up. If we could, I'd go on for another hour. I'm sure you all want to get to your evenings, so do you. But thank you all for coming. Ricky's going to take a picture, and please, keep watching. And
you want to
You can see
Okay.
Danny and Jennifer over here. That's your acronym.
I think I'm not.
Right here. Okay. Yes, smile. Tracy.
Oh, it's not. I thought.
But you have on three. Look at the top. Smile for me. 1, 2, 3. Don't move. 1, 2, 3. How's it?
Thanks.